On the 40 acres, on campus grounds, we gather round, discussing goals and dreams and life's adventures. The Texas Longhorns, they're the talk of the town. High castles of the 40 acres, where we dive deep into the game day stories, from touchdowns to heartbreakers. We discuss it all, Texas Longhorns glory. Here we gather round each Thursday night, talking sports, it's so alright. From football to basketball, baseball to softball, Tim Wayne and Harry's, we cover it all. Sports talk is our passion, our delight. Thursday night at 8:30, we unite. We discuss the scores, the plays, the teams who might. Let's dive into the game, let's ignite.
12 conference champions.
Woo! Staying Big 12 conference champions and knowing that we should also be SEC champions is really painful.
Yep.
But hey, this is the Longhorn Fan Battle Podcast. My name's Harish. This is my guy Tim Wayne.
You.
Tim Wayne, how you feeling, man?
Still kind of up in arms about that loss. I ain't gonna lie. Just because of the way it played out at the end of the game. Still not a fan of how that was. I feel like they weren't prepared for what was about to happen, and I'm just really unsatisfied with the way that they went out in the SEC championship.
I don't know if they were unprepared. I felt like they were. I feel like this was an undisciplined team on Saturday.
Undisciplined is a great word.
Like there's so much that happened in that game that's just like, why is this team playing this way? This is not like a Sark team because we don't commit a lot. Listen, sometimes penalties happen, but the types of penalties we were doing, lining up in the neutral zone, really, like that's what we're doing, like, and then not just being, I feel like maybe unaware, and then I think the coaching is to blame on this too.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
The punter gets hurt, and you don't even prepare for a fake punt.
Yeah,
like that's on Jeff Banks, man. Like Jeff Banks is one of the best coaches on the staff, and you just to not even have the runner like even look at what was going on that fake punt. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Just a game you should have won. Texas, we should be walking in as the 2 seed. having a couple weeks off, Texas should be the number 2 seed.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's the thing that hurts the most. Now I don't know how to take that. Do you take that as Georgia's a bad match, or do you take this one on the chin too and say we'll get them next time? I don't know, but we've got a long way to get there. We've got a lot to talk about. We're taking a break from football this week. We're going to talk about some other stuff. We're going to talk SEC schedule. We're going to talk transfer portal, and then we're going to get up out of here. Short show today. We're going to talk about those two things, and we'll get a move and a groove on it. So,
yes, sir.
As always, before we get started, fanbattlesports.com, where you can get the latest and greatest from the AFC South, including the Titans, the Colts, the Texans, and the Jaguars. Fanbattlesports.com.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
My Cowboys are just as bad, if not worse,
And all those teams.
All of those teams combined. But what really, really hurt me is former Longhorn legend, Marion Overshown, goes down with another knee injury.
So does Jonathan Brooks.
It is a terrible, terrible weekend for former Longhorn players. The way Overshown has stepped up in the last 4 weeks has been amazing, short of amazing.
Yeah.
He has really, really he's a relatively young player. If you think about his playing career, he did not get to play at all last year because he had a knee injury. And he sustained that knee injury in preseason, actually, the last preseason game of the year. And then for him to come out this year and look as good as he was a camp standout. He was in camp. He was running around. They kind of tried to, limit him, because they didn't want him to re-aggravate anything. They wanted that full-time recovery. But when he did play in preseason, he looked really good. And it sucks because you could tell, you could tell by how he got injured, he was rolled up on. That's one of the worst things you want to happen, especially with a big guy rolling up on you. And it wasn't that guy's fault. They were playing football. And,
bang, bang play.
It was a bang play. He rolled up on him. Whistle blows. Guy goes to the ground, rolls up on Overshown, and he goes down. But man, dude, I really think I'm praying for a speedy recovery for Brooks and for Overshown because again they've both dealt with knee injuries in the past and they have looked really good at times, especially Brooks and Overshown. Overshown just stands out to me just because, again, I'm a Cowboys fan and I just so happen to watch more Cowboys games. But Brooks also has had some flashes as well, and he got hurt on a non-contact injury. And
on the same knee that he hurt at Texas.
Yeah.
That's the worst part, right?
Yeah, same knee.
That's tough.
That really sucks. But, man, both of those guys, they looked good in the NFL. I hope that they're able to make, a speedy recovery because both of them look good and both of them look like they're going to be key pieces, especially Overshown, man. The way that the defense responded to him getting injured, it blew my mind, especially in that Cincinnati game. He balled out. Dude, the last couple weeks, he's been balling out.
He's been playing really well.
Man, he's been balling out. So, man, get well soon, Brooks. Jonathan Brooks, DeMarvion Overshown, man, get well soon, dog. I want to see y'all back on the field because y'all were balling.
Yeah. And, Jonathan Brooks is probably the more interesting of the two because it was non-contact. And so I think there's some people out there saying, should he have been out there? Was he ready to be out there yet?
Right.
Because it was non-contact. And at this point, you just don't know, right? You can't play that game, right? You can't say, well, if you did this, then that would. You don't know that.
Yeah,
so
big facts.
Speedy recovery to both of those guys. It just sucks, man. It sucks. And those two are.
It sucks because both of those teams are not good, but you could clearly see those are shining pieces on a terrible team, on both two terrible teams. So it just sucks even more, man. Yeah, that's what's.
I mean, to be fair, the Cowboys are bad. I think the Panthers might be turning it. Might be
Turning.
turning the quarter.
You think so?
I think Bryce Young has looked pretty good the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Bryce Young
Feels like
from
feels
the
like he might
beginning
be
of the
figuring it
season,
out.
yeah, from
Yeah,
the beginning of the season to now, it's like, dude, all you needed was a couple of weeks to just kind of sit down and understand the concept of the game. Like,
yeah.
I
Feels like he's figuring it out. So
yeah, he looks.
promising there. Promising there. So we'll
He
see.
was balling against the Eagles. They should have won that
He
game.
really was. Yeah, they should have. But I mean, that's a sign of a bad team, right? Like they just
Yeah,
don't have. They don't have the juice to match up with Saquon Barkley, who's probably going to beat the rushing.
I really
Um,
don't want Saquon to beat that rushing record, but go off.
yeah. He only needs like what 600 yards. He's got 5 games to do it. 4 games to do it.
I don't think he's gonna 600 yards is a lot though.
Yeah, but he's averaging like 130 yards a game.
And that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean, if you take a look at his average, right? He's got 1,600 yards right now. They've only played what 12 games,
Yeah. We got
13
almost
games, 13
seven more
games.
weeks to go.
Yeah.
5 more weeks in a regular season.
He's rushing for like 135 yards a game.
That's insane.
That's a lot. So
It's crazy
it's
what
not out of the
real
realm of
efficiency-
possibility.
Yeah, it's crazy what
And
real
he's breaking runs too, which is what you need when you're trying to do something like this.
That's what we needed Saturday. We need some runs broken. Breaking runs.
Yep. But yeah, follow us on Twitter at LH Fan Battle. And of course on the YouTubes here. Comment in the comment section. Follow us on YouTube at Longhorn Fan Battle. At some point we're gonna do a giveaway for followers. So stay tuned there. We will get there probably in the off season at some point.
Man, the faster you guys get us to our goals, the faster we can do a giveaway. Again, we appreciate everything.
Sure.
Just spread the word, baby. Just spread the word. If you like it, cool. If you don't, I understand. But I guarantee you there will be something in this program that you'll like eventually, whether it's me going off, Harish talking trash to the general public about any and everything Texas Longhorn related, because he can talk about it. And so, yeah, man, just spread the word, man, especially to your Longhorn fans. We going all year, man. We don't take breaks. We go. So, keep it moving. Let's get that count up.
Speaking of but yeah, follow us there, and we really appreciate it. We want to hopefully be able to continue bring you guys more content.
Breaking news: Travis Hunter wins the Blitnikoff. Congrats!
Oh, he does win the Blitnikoff.
This
breaking news! Jade Barron has won the Thorpe.
Let's go, Jade. Let's go.
Oh,
let's go.
Wow.
Let's go.
Jade Barron has won the Thorpe
Award winners is that?
Huh?
How many Thorpe Award winners is that? I want to say that's 5.
3. It's only.
Is it 3?
We had Michael Huff.
Was
it Eric? Was it Ross?
Aaron
Ross? Was it Aaron Ross?
I was thinking Aaron Ross.
Michael Huff. I think those are the only 2.
Really?
Yep.
Will Thomas didn't win one?
Nope. I think it was a finalist.
Kenny Vaccaro? No.
Nope.
Quandre Diggs?
I will check on Quandre. Because I remember reading something earlier today that the last 2 were Ross and shoot. I just forgot his now I just forgot his name. So here are the Texas guys that have won it.
Okay.
The last guy from Texas to win it was Aaron Ross in 06. Oh, Michael Huff in 05, Aaron Ross in 06. They went back to back.
Okay.
Those are the last Texas players to win it. But look who's won it since. Malcolm Jenkins, Eric Berry.
Eric Berry's deserving.
Yeah.
Eric Berry was crazy.
Eric Berry.
Tyron Matthew.
Morris Claiborne, Patrick Peterson, Desmond King, Adoree Jackson, Minka Fitzpatrick. You remember when people thought DeAndre Baker was going to be good? That guy ended up being a bust. Trevin Moring in 2020 won it. Do you remember Darqueze Dennard? He was pretty good in the NFL. He was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then Kobe Bryant won it in 2021. Trey Tomlinson in 2022. And then Texas gets their third. Texas, by the way, tied with Oklahoma for the most Jim Thorpe Award winners of all time.
Of all time.
Yep. They each have 3.
Wow. Okay.
The award's only been announced out since '86.
That's still relatively long.
That's a lot. That's a lot for that amount of time. I mean, 40 years almost.
Yep.
And you account for 3 of them. That's pretty good.
Yep.
So, shout out to Jahdae Barron.
You know where Jim Thorpe is from, though, right?
Jim Thorpe is
he's from Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, he's from Oklahoma.
Is he from Oklahoma?
Yeah. He's from Oklahoma, bro. He played with the Arizona Cardinals. The only reason I remember
he played for the Cardinals. That's what it is.
And NCAA football 14, they had a Jim Thorpe card that came out. Yep. It was a Jim Thorpe card. And they had the history. See, man, that's what I miss about how those college football games. I think what I want to do is I want to go. I have some of those games, like some of those physical games. I want to go back and get all of them collectively because he had a lot of stuff. I learned a lot about different schools and different parts of the country because of that game. So
maybe eventually it'll come back.
I hope so. That's what I'm hoping.
I think next year. I think they're. It seems like they're already making a push for next year.
Yeah, I definitely hope so. I miss hearing. They had the history of the trophy. They talked about the trophies and what they meant. They had a record of the entire series of almost every game for a lot of those trophies. And so remember, you could go into the trophy room and you can look at the trophies that you won and the trophies that you're still available.
Yeah. That should be back next year. I've heard rumors that should be back.
Man, praying for that to come back.
Yeah. So, shout out to Jahdae Barron. We also have the Outland Trophy winner, right? Melvin Branks wins the Outland Trophy. So back-to-back Outland Trophy winners.
Yes,
so
sir.
Sick. So awesome.
Yep.
So excited for Jahdae. I think this secondary is going to be fired up to play Clemson, and it's going to be that battle between, and we'll talk about this next week. That battle between this secondary and Cade Klubnik is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, because Cade likes to throw the ball. He likes it, and he likes to throw deep.
Yep.
We've seen that against SMU. And
the secondary will be tested a little bit.
Cade is a ball extender. He's progressed thoroughly from week 1 to now, and you can tell. And man, it's gonna be a heavyweight fight. I think it's gonna be a slugfest for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very excited for him. So shout out to Jahdae. Good luck to
Austin kid, man. They said, back in the day, they said we didn't have any talent.
See ready, straight from Conley High School.
Yes, sir.
We have a Jim Thorpe Award winner. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear.
Somebody needs to paint a mural in Conley High School. Jahdae Barron.
Yeah, they need to do something at Conley High School because they haven't been doing much. Oh, that's good. Gosh, I miss the good old days of good Conley football.
Hey man, Conley at one point in time, Conley was a powerhouse in not only Austin but the state of Texas in general.
Yeah, I know. That's the like 5 year like the 5 year span, like the year before I got there and the 4 years I was there, and then
Yeah,
maybe like 2 years after, and that's it.
yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't know what's happening with Austin football, man. It's kids don't care about football out here in this city. Can't say
Yeah,
about the state, but in this city, there's not a lot of kids that care about football. There's a handful of teams out there. Of course, Austin LBJ has always been a powerhouse. I'd say Manor is also out there. But just like inner city kids
yeah,
in the city of Austin, if you're not Westlake or Lake Travis or
yeah,
LBJ, those kids don't care.
yeah.
It's just what it is, and that's unfortunate because this used to be a hub. Remember when we went to go see what quarterback did we go see? Uh was it Ash? Was it David Ash? What Lake Travis
When
what Lake Travis quarterback did we go watch?
you
And it
and
was
me
yeah, we both went to go watch him at a high school football game.
was
It
it
was
Garrett Gilbert?
Garrett Gilbert. There it was. There it is. Get it right on the
Yeah, it
head.
was a playoff game, wasn't it?
It was a playoff game. It was
And it was at
cold.
Lake
You remember
Travis.
that?
Yeah, I remember that game. I do
It was
remember that. It was cold
cold,
as hell.
man. Yeah, it was
It was cold
windy.
as
It
hell.
was hot outside earlier in the day. Then it got
Yeah,
cold.
when the cold front came in, jeez, that was brutal. Yeah, I do remember that game. That
Yeah.
game was cold. That was yeah, I remember that game.
Hey, Garrett Gilbert balled out. He did ball out.
Yeah,
We thought we had something.
I think there's a lot of like animosity in the whole Garrett Gilbert thing just because of how that played out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that whole last like 2 or 3 years of the Mac Brown era just did not fare well.
Nah.
It is what it is at this point. I don't even care anymore. I hate talking about that era at this point. But let's move on.
Yeah.
So the SEC schedule was revealed last night. Now, it's the same opponents as this year, right?
Yep.
It'll just happen in a different order.
Yep.
And so, yeah, this is what it looks like. The non-conference, of course, gets started straight away. Ohio State game 1. That's wild to me. You have
That's
to go to the
absolutely
shoe.
insane.
Got to go to the shoe. But as you look at the rest of this schedule, Tim, what sticks out?
What sticks out is that the Florida game before and the Georgia game before Arkansas is in that last 3 weeks, absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Texas and I'm glad we got into this because again, and I'm pretty sure you saw it on Twitter. I posted it on TikTok, and boom, immediately once I posted it, oh, your schedule's easy. You're not doing
This
this.
schedule is not. I think
Anybody.
this schedule is harder than it
I'm
was
like,
last
are you looking at the last 3 weeks of this season? You're going to Georgia, then you have Arkansas, and then you have A&M. You have one of the toughest opponents in the league in the sport, okay, in Georgia. Then you have 2 rivalry games back to back. Who does that?
That was so crazy. And then now that you think about it, did we play Arkansas? No, we didn't play them back to back this year, did we? There was a week in between them, wasn't there?
Right.
When did this happen this year? Let me check.
I
didn't even put 2 and 2 together.
Dog, like I'm looking at this, I'm like, how, like in what you're
Yeah, there was the Kentucky game baked into there, right?
Yeah. So the thing is, guys, like listen, Texas does not make the schedule. They do not say these are the people we want to play. The only thing that they can control is their out of conference schedule. They cannot control their conference schedule. They can control their out of conference schedule, and that is about it. Do they have some cupcake? Yes.
They play
But
Ohio State week 1.
we play Ohio State week 1. That is a literal toss-up. We don't know what we're gonna get. We don't know what Ohio State's gonna look like. We don't know what Arch is gonna look like. We have no idea what we're about to walk into in that moment. So game 1 is honestly probably the hardest game in the country.
Yeah.
Like Ohio State and for us.
Yeah.
That's week 1.
What
That's
wouldn't
insane.
it be crazy? And I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. Wouldn't it be crazy if Quinn transferred back to Ohio State and it was Quinn versus Arch?
I would not be shocked if
Like,
that was
wouldn't that would be wild?
that'd be insane. That would be insane.
That would be absolute drama. That would be great. That would be very. By the way, after Quinn wins a national title for Texas.
Also look at that date. Look at that date.
Yeah, it's gonna be
August 30th. That's probably going to be that's a week 0 game.
No, the season starts earlier now. Remember, because it ends later.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the weekend the season starts now.
I forget. College game day will be at the shoe for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Regardless of how Ohio State or how Texas finishes this year, they'll both be ranked. And I'm pretty sure they'll probably be ranked within the top 10.
Well, guess what? There is a possibility Ohio State plays Texas in the semifinal this year.
It's very positive.
Because Ohio State beats Oregon. Texas takes care of their side of the bracket. They're meeting in the semifinal. So you end and you start against the same team.
Right.
There's so much to this Ohio State thing.
There's a lot to that for sure. I think both of those teams will end in the top 10, regardless if they go to a semifinal or national championship. I think both of them will be in the top 10 for sure. And
probably start in the top 5.
Or start in the top 5, especially at the next year. At the start of next year. And we all know that college game day is going to be there. There would be no reason to not be there. That's the game for the opening season. Like, what are we doing? But yeah, that last 3 weeks is absolutely insane. Outside of the bye week being there, Georgia, Arkansas, and A&M is crazy. That's crazy.
I do like the bye week before Georgia, though. I do like the bye week before those last 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's deserved because if you think about it, you have Sam Houston State. I'm just going to say that's going to be a win. Florida, Oklahoma. We don't know what kind of Florida team we're going to see, and we don't know what we're going to see at A&M. I mean, at Oklahoma. DJ Lagway, if he's playing like if DJ Lagway is playing like we think he's going to be playing, like he's playing right now, that's going to be tough. That's not going to be a walk in the park.
You have to go to the swamp. That's the 3-game stretch that I thought was going to be the most interesting. Listen, the end of the season, I think you go to Georgia. That's going to be crazy, and then you have to come home and play back-to-back rivals. That's insane, and anybody thinks that that's easy has lost their mind because
there's no Charlotte.
You have to go from one hate to the next.
Yeah.
Literally back to back. And so that's insane. That middle of the season, October is going to be crazy. And think about it. There's no home games in October.
All on the road.
You don't go. So you leave, you get a home game at the end of September. You're not coming back till November.
For a month.
The same thing they did to Georgia this year, they did to Texas next year.
That's crazy. That's insane for people to sit up there and say that Texas. Yeah. And again, I was going back and forth with people on TikTok, whether it was on our page, whether it was on other pages. That was just a thing within the last 24 to 48 hours. That has been the thing. Texas doesn't have a strong schedule. Oh, they gave them another easy schedule. Oh, this is easy. Blah, blah, blah. I 1000% agree with you. The outside of the Ohio State game, the UTEP game, outside the Ohio State, Jesus, those other 3 teams, very, very easy. Very, very easy. But you know what they're not doing? They're not playing these guys in November. They're not playing these guys in December. They're not doing that to themselves. Charlotte, Alabama plays Charlotte in the end of November.
Yep.
What are we talking about? Tennessee also has an easy schedule at the end of November. They have a puppy schedule, and at the end of the season. I get it. You want to get your guys healthy, but you can't sit up there and say that Texas is running an easy schedule. Yeah, the first half of their schedule might be easy outside of Ohio State, but you can't argue about the last 6 weeks of that schedule. You can't. Texas goes to Mississippi State. Mississippi State is known to throw haymakers when playing at home. Look what they almost did to Florida. Look what they almost did to didn't they beat Vanderbilt this year? They beat Vanderbilt.
Mississippi State. I need to check.
If I'm not mistaken, they beat Vanderbilt at home.
No, they didn't beat anybody. They didn't beat anybody in the conference this year. They went 0-8.
They went 0-8. Okay, well, maybe they gave them a run.
They got close, right? So they lose. They only lose to Georgia by 10. They only lose to A&M by 10. They didn't play Vanderbilt.
They didn't play
Vanderbilt. I mean, they played Ole Miss pretty close.
Yes,
that's a rivalry game.
They play people tough. Period. Regardless of what
these teams kind of went away at the end, late in those games.
Right.
And Mississippi State is interesting because Van Buren just announced he's going to the transfer portal.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with Mississippi State.
Yeah, man. That last 6 weeks of that season is tough, dog. It's tough. Going to Mississippi State, then Vanderbilt coming home. Okay. Then you go to Georgia. Arkansas, they're right across the street, dog. They're gonna travel very well. They travel very, very well. And A&M, there's tons of Aggies in Austin. Tons of them.
Do you ever see that that Arkansas game turning into a AT&T Stadium game?
God, I hope not. Keep the rivalry.
I don't want it either. I was just curious.
For sure. I could see that happening. I could see Arkansas saying, "Hey, we want to play at AT&T Stadium."
Oh, of course they do, because it would technically be a home field advantage for them because Jerry Jones went to Arkansas.
Right, and the team is right there. Arkansas from Georgia. I mean, Arkansas to Dallas is 3 hours.
3 hours. Little Rock to Dallas is like 3 hours.
Yeah, that's not a far stretch. 4 hours max with traffic. That's not far fetched. So, if I'm not mistaken, A&M in Arkansas is always played in Dallas. If I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Kelvin Banks also named first team All-American on the offense. No Texas players made first team All-American on defense.
That's insane.
Travis Hunter made it both ways. First team All-American offense and defense. So Texas got screwed in a lot of ways. They got screwed in all SEC rankings in the all SEC teams.
I was just about to ask you that. What were your thoughts on? What were your thoughts? Because I mean, they gave our boy Anthony Hill Jr. They gave him some love.
No, they didn't. They didn't give him any love.
But he made all SEC freshmen.
Yeah, but he should have been on the all SEC team.
I agree.
No, he didn't. No. Anthony Hill isn't a freshman.
My bad. Colin Simmons.
Simmons made All-American.
My bad, guys. My bad. Colin Simmons made the All-American SEC first team All-American. Do you think that's because of Texas's success of this first year here in the SEC?
Why Colin Simmons made first team All-Freshman?
No, why a multitude of players didn't make all SEC teams?
Yeah, I think it's because the rest of the conference doesn't like Texas.
It's absolutely insane. How does Jahdae Barron
Johnny Barron didn't make first team All SEC. No, he did. Johnny Barron did make first team All SEC.
Okay. The list I saw,
Well,
he was not on.
Anthony Hill did not make first team All SEC linebacker. They gave it to Jahad Campbell, which I don't know if anybody's ever watched an ounce of Alabama's defense, but they're terrible. Andy Stutzman was all SEC first team. They're terrible. And then Whit Weeks, I don't even know who Whit Weeks is. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I guess defensive lineman makes sense. Like Kyle Kennard makes sense. Walter Nolan makes sense. Six Scorton. That makes sense. I'm good with the defensive linemen.
What about second team SEC?
All second team SEC. This was surprising. Quinn Ewers was the second team SEC quarterback. The fact that Quinn Ewers had the year that he did and made the second team All SEC team shows how bad the quarterback play was in the conference.
Spot on, my friend. Spot on. Bravo. Yeah,
that's how bad the quarterback play was.
If you think about it, A&M pulled their starting quarterback. Arkansas, I believe, pulled a starting quarterback.
KJ Jefferson. Oh, no. They had a new quarterback. Yep. And he was just okay.
He was okay.
DJ Lagway was in and out.
In and out. Remember, Florida had their starting quarterback. They pulled him, put Lagway in. Lagway gets beat up.
No, the starter tears his ACL.
Oh, that's right. He got injured. That's right. He got injured. But he wasn't playing well anyway. Like
he was doing okay. It happened like that. I think it happened like midway through the season, and they were on the. I think they like started off poorly, but they were starting to come back and do well. And then
we were talking about. Remember, we were talking about Lagway. Not getting a start could potentially mean that Florida's head coach was gonna go. Now
they saved his job, man.
He saved his job because he got the extension in the middle of the year. He signed.
He did, but he also beat those two teams and he made a bowl game.
He did.
You beat Ole Miss. Like beating Ole Miss to me was like, okay, we're making progress. Right. Listen,
Florida's
they had a tough schedule. Florida had
the worst schedule in the SEC. It was the absolute worst schedule in the SEC.
But I am circling. I'm kind of upset that Florida and Oklahoma are back to back because I'm circling that Florida game because I really want to go to that.
You want to go to the Swamp, huh?
I want to go to the Swamp because it's a bucket list.
Yeah.
I also want to go to the Swamp because I really want to see Arch versus DJ Lagway.
Not Arch, but Lagway.
The top two quarterbacks in that class go head to head.
Yeah.
I really want to see that. So we'll see if we can make that happen.
You know what's crazy to me? And this is gonna sound like straight up Homer, and then we can move on. But Arch plays like a typical prototype Texas quarterback.
Yeah, that's why Sark loves him. You know who doesn't play like a typical prototype Texas quarterback? Quinn Ewers.
I've
learned that about Quinn. He's a gunslinger. He's a risk-taking gunslinger.
But to be fair, Texas quarterbacks are the same. When I think of quarterbacks, I think of Kyle, and Kyler Murray. Excuse me. I think of Baker. Those guys were flinging the ball. Like they were putting the ball in the air. Jalen Hurts, they were putting the ball in the air 40, 50 times a week. Quinn was. I don't know what happened, and you know what's crazy?
I heard every 3 weeks. I'm not trying to be funny. That's literally what Quinn's injury history is. What stunted his growth at Texas?
Very much so. And
if he doesn't get hurt, you're talking about the best quarterback in the nation right now. Like I wholeheartedly believe that.
Right.
Because every time he would go up, something would happen, and then it's like you got to start over again. I felt like he just never was able to pick back up.
If you think about it, when he first got injured, the first injury he got against Alabama, he looked phenomenal.
Dusting.
He looked phenomenal.
Dusting Alabama.
He gets injured for how many games? 4 games?
Yep.
He gets injured for 4 games. He comes back not the same guy. Not the same.
He comes back for the Oklahoma State guy and throws up a dud.
Yeah, he's not the same when he comes back. So then you're like, okay, cool. He'll come back next year. Blah blah blah. Comes back injured again.
Starts off great, gets hurt.
It looks good. Looks
Again.
great.
Yep.
Freak injury. Oblique injury?
Oh no. Last year was the AC joint again.
Oh, you're right. Last year was the
AC joint again. He gets hurt.
It was the AC joint. So he goes down. Hudson Card steps in. No, or was that Malik that stepped in?
Malik stepped in last year.
Malik stepped in. Hudson was the year before. Malik steps in, looks good, wins some games.
He comes back. It looks just okay.
Looks okay. Same thing. He balling out of control, oblique injury. You're just like, oh God. So literally, this is 3 years where he's had major injuries, where he's been out a significant amount of time. He has the oblique injury, comes back, looks all right against Oklahoma, has another injury with the ankle.
He looks great against Florida.
Looks great against Florida.
Great against Kentucky, but then hurts his ankle. On a play trying to go out of bounds.
Yep. And looks bad. It looks really bad. And I think, they played it off like, oh, he'll be okay. But that injury has hurt him a lot longer than we expected. When we look back on this season, and I'm sorry, I've been reflecting on it because I want to, at the end of the year, when all the games are played, I want to grade our season. And there are some key things that I think from as a head coach, that you have to say, I need to put the best man in this game for my team to win. And I'm starting to believe, just going back, looking at stuff, looking at highlights, looking at things, looking at key parts of the season, that game where Quinn came back and they said, oh, he's going to be fine. And he's got the ankle brace on and he didn't look good. He should have immediately been yanked and they should have put him on the sideline and said, you're not healthy enough. And they should have put Arch in. And they should have just rode the season out with Arch and just let him play. And if Quinn is healthy enough to come back in that season and they're able to say, hey, which would have been last week. So if Arch would have played last week and Quinn comes back and he's like, hey, I'm healthy, I'm 100%, then that's when you have a conversation of like, okay, do we ride this out with Quinn or do we ride this out with Arch? And I think Sark, he will never admit this, but he's basically fallen on his sword. He has to ride it out. There's been people that have been talking about this, and I want your opinion on it because I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I was watching the podcast Unnecessary Roughness with Barstool. I love those guys, that group of people, because they are diehard fans of their programs.
I'm talking about like Casey and Brandon and those guys.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I can't stand any of them.
I just like the fact that
they're funny. They have funny clips. I just can't stand them, especially the A&M fan. She's a weirdo.
Oh no, she's delusional. But you know what I do like about her? She says A&M is a cult. I like the fact that she admits that. She's like, this A&M is very cultish.
Well, what is she gonna say? Oh yeah, well you just made up media stuff.
Hey, listen, I respect it because I think A&M fans don't want to admit that they have some kind of cult thing going on down there, and I don't know what that's all about. But anywho, they were saying that they think that Sark should just roll with Arch, like what he's given Quinn the opportunity to do what he needs to do, and he just hasn't done it. What are your thoughts on that? If you're Coach Sark right now, you're getting ready to play Clemson in a week because it's a week from Saturday. You're getting ready to play Clemson. What do you do?
I don't think you put Arch in that situation. Here's the thing. Here's what you also are trying to protect Arch in a way, right?
Okay.
Because if he goes out in a playoff game and duds that up, and he doesn't play well and you lose, then you have the same narrative. I think Sark is in a lose-lose situation. What I do want to see, I think Quinn, and he says it himself. Listen, I wholeheartedly believe if Sark thought Arch gave him the better opportunity to win, he would have started him by now.
Right.
I don't think I don't like unless Sark just likes to say stuff, like you don't say Mamba mentality. You don't say you're obsessed with winning championships. You don't say you don't say these things if you're not gonna back it up with your coaching, right? Yes. Is there some fault to him hanging on to Quinn? Absolutely, I think there is. But at this point in the season, where if you were to people that just say, "Oh yeah, he would have just went out there and won that game against Georgia on
Oh
Saturday."
no, I don't think we were going to win the game regardless. The way we were playing, I don't think Quinn
Yeah.
would have. I don't think Arch would have won the game, and I don't think Quinn.
Would
Like
it have
basically
made
looking
you
at, I
feel
don't.
any better?
It would have made me feel better from a physical
Why?
standpoint, knowing that Quinn is fully healthy. I mean, Arch is fully healthy.
So you would
Quinn,
have rather lost that game with the fully healthy Arch? Is that what you're saying?
yeah. Have you
Okay.
noticed Kelvin Banks did not play that game? He
Well,
wasn't.
Trevor Gooseby played just fine in that. Trevor Goosby's been just fine.
Gooseby has
Kelvin
been
Banks.
great. Gooseby, the way he's playing, is definitely going to step in. He's going to be an anchor next
My
year when
problem,
they keep
yeah.
that long.
Oh, yeah.
But
He's
Kelvin
still
Banks, I think, and again, Kelvin Banks and Quinn are in a different type of perspective. We know Kelvin Banks is going lottery. We know that.
Yeah, he'll be top 5.
Everybody knows he's going top 5. Everybody. It just matters where they fall. We all know where they're going.
Yeah.
We all know where he's going. Quinn is in a different boat with that. So it's like Quinn has another year of eligibility. We know that Kelvin is gone. We know. Unless something freakish happens, and if Kelvin Banks stays, that's a different. But I think based on he's gonna be a new dad. He's gonna he's got a family now. Like he's literally grown up in front of us. Like he's gonna, I think he's gonna go off. I think I don't know if he has a possibility of staying. That may be something that you can work with. The insiders. You might be able to work something out. But I don't see I just don't see Quinn in a situation where he's going in the first or second round at this point because he's not been healthy enough. That is going to be a knock for Quinn is he's not been available to play.
Yeah.
If you think about the amount of time and the amount of games that he's missed over 10 games in his playing career.
Yeah.
If you think about it, he missed the first season he was here, he missed 4 games. How many games did he miss last season? 4 games, right? If I'm not mistaken, 4 games, and he missed 3 this year. That's 11 games.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's more than half of an NFL season.
That's a lot. That's a lot for a college football player to miss. You basically missed a quarter of your season every year that you've played. Yep. That's a lot. So I don't know. I kind of now that you mentioned that, I do kind of feel what you're saying. Like Sark is kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I think he's screwed either way. I also think that even if he wasn't, I also think having the playoff experience, being in these moments, I do think Quinn gives you the best chance. But I also think Quinn has to be healthy, and I hope that this 2 weeks gives him that opportunity to get some rest.
Right.
I think if you get a healthy Quinn, if Quinn comes out and starts firing on next Saturday, you've got healthy Quinn, and you're going to be.
Quinn comes out with no ankle brace, I'm going to be shocked.
You think that 2 weeks is enough?
No, you need a solid for an ankle.
Because it's been 2, 3.
It's been about 3 weeks. It's been about 3 weeks.
It'll be 4 weeks by the time they kick off next week.
Yeah, you need a good for a high ankle sprain. You need a good 6 to 8 weeks, honestly.
So if they were to make it to the national title game, that's when he would be.
That's when he would be. That's when he would be the most healthy.
Well, hey, that means he's getting better every week. Then that ankle's going to bother him less and less.
Oh, I'm hoping so. I'm really hoping
if
so.
Quinn can, I do think the push off has been the issue for Quinn. It looked better, right? The hope is maybe it looked even better, and it just continues to look better.
I think what really made Quinn look better last week was the fact that those Texas receivers were just basically outrunning the defensive backs at Georgia. They were just.
He didn't have to make a lot of crazy.
He didn't have to. Right? He didn't really have to push the ball down the field. He was able to put it up in the spot, and the Texas wide receivers are able to go and get it.
Yeah,
he's gonna need again. I credit Clemson. One thing that I noticed about Clemson when they played against Georgia, that first half, if it wasn't for Clemson's defense, that game should have been won by 70 points. I
noticed this last week. Their secondary is not
good. Clemson's defensive line. I mean, Clemson's secondary is not good, but their defensive line
might be able to expose them. I mean, it's kind of Georgia, right?
It's a mirror. It's a mirror match.
Yeah.
You're gonna play up against some really good defensive linemen and their spotty secondary. They're not good in secondary.
Is their defensive line just as good as Georgia?
I think their defensive line is just as good as Georgia's.
And they exploit you the same way Georgia's defensive line. Because they have a lot of size, but they have the speed. I don't think size is a problem for this offensive line. It's the speed combined with the size.
Right.
And does Clemson have that same speed? Because I saw Clemson get had pretty easily against SMU once SMU settled in and figured.
But SMU also got a track runner for a quarterback at SMU. Dude, that kid from Dallas, he's a speed demon, dog. He is nowhere. Quinn is nowhere near the athlete as the SMU quarterback. Not at all. It's not even close.
So the SMU the running back from SMU had 24 carries for 113 yards. So he averaged about 5 yards.
That's really
Texas
good.
gets 5 yards a carry. Clemson has no shot in this game.
But if Clemson I believe Clemson's defensive line is just as good as Georgia's.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to, if they don't move these guys off the ball, they're going to have an issue.
Yeah, it looks like Klubnik just threw a lot on SMU's defense. That's really where it came from. Klubnik went 262, 4 touchdowns, no picks.
Yeah, Klubnik
He's not doing that against this defense.
I don't think so. I don't think so either. It's really going to be a strength on strength matchup. Yeah. Like, can Texas's defense shut down Cade Klubnik and his big plays, because he likes to put the ball in the air. And can Clemson's defensive line, obviously the strongest point of their team and the focal point of their defense is their defensive line. Can Texas uphold against another top tier
offensive line,
defensive line? Like,
oh yeah, Texas, yeah. Phil Maffa, by the way, the running back for Clemson was 13 carries, 28 yards.
Ooh.
They did not run the ball well, and I don't think that bodes well for them.
One thing we do know is that outside of Trevor Etienne, Texas can stop the run. Outside, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, and they can run the ball outside of Georgia. I think I saw or heard earlier today, they averaged like 1.5 yards or 1.6 yards per carry against Georgia. Mm-hmm. They averaged 4.9 yards against everybody else.
That's insane.
So if that trend continues,
that's a first down. That's a first down every 2 running plays.
And you get Kelvin Banks back, right? The interior, really, I think it's going to come down to a couple of things: the discipline of the interior of this offensive line, and on the defensive side of the ball, it's going to come down to the front 7 continuing to play well. And if those two things happen, I think Texas can dominate. I can easily see Texas winning this game by 3 touchdowns.
Man, I've got so many questions. I want to ask this and then we can move on because I know we need to cover the transfer portal here quickly. Do you think if you're Kelvin Banks, do you come back
Hell
and
yeah,
play against
100%.
this Clemson team, or do you hang it up and say, listen, I need to get healthy. I got the draft coming up.
Dude,
What do you think he comes back?
yeah, 100%. I think Kelvin Banks is going to play.
Okay, because
See,
that's a trend right
this
now.
is
Like a lot of people are not playing in these bowl games, and that's
but
what's
this isn't a bowl game. This is
that's
not
true.
a bowl game.
That's true.
You're
That's
you're
true.
playing for an opportunity to go get a national title.
That's true.
This is not a bowl game. I think that's
Right.
different. So, all right, let's quickly talk about the transfer portal. I can only find 5 guys from Texas, and actually one pulled out. I can only find 5 guys that have entered the transfer portal so far for Texas. And
Mhm.
let's see. And one of them has pulled back out, right?
Okay.
He has canceled his entering into the portal.
And who was that?
So Javion Cole is entered, right?
Right. Right.
Tia
Cornerback.
Savea,
Yep. I
um,
don't know
and
why. I don't know
Aaron
why
Bryant.
Surveyor decided to jump in. I don't think that. I
I
don't think.
think the writing was on the wall for Tia Savea. Here's the thing: if 2 people stay, you're getting in Justice Terry, right? So you just assume Justice Terry is going to get a spot.
Right.
Tia Savea having like only 1 year of eligibility left is probably looking for a guaranteed spot and not a rotation
Okay.
because he wants to try to get to the next level.
Right. Makes sense.
And then Javion Cole. We just talked about him. Aaron Bryant, right?
I don't get that one either.
Darian Gillette,
Right.
Tausili Akana, who was a 3-star freshman. I didn't really. He's a linebacker or an edge guy. I didn't really know if there was an opportunity for him to get on the field.
Right.
Dre Bledsoe, Jonte Cook, of course. And then yesterday, it was reported that Sadir Mitchell entered the transfer portal. As of 3 hours ago, it has been confirmed that he is not entering the transfer portal. And he will remain at University of Texas.
I saw the message
I'm
that
very happy.
I saw the message that Sadir was going to go. I was really concerned about Sadir earlier in the year because of Sadir Mitchell is very, very talented. Sadir Mitchell is one of those guys who could become a Malcolm Roach, who could become a Trevondre Sweat. Those are that's his ceiling. He has a real, like, when he is on the field, he's very quick, he's very powerful, and he just hadn't been getting enough play. Now, to be fair, the 2 guys that are in front of him have been really, really, really good. Like,
this year for sure.
like Alfred Collins, like he's been great, And what's my other? I always forget how to say his name. God, I can't remember how to say his name. The other defensive lineman, both of them have played very well this year.
Sure.
I mean, at times outside of the secondary, they have been focal points. Again, we just so happen to get Trey Moore to start coming on within this last 4 to 5 weeks. We talked about it ad nauseum. Trey Moore coming on in the last 4 to 5 weeks, looking really, really good. What's my man from Austin? The other edge. Jesus, I can't think of his name right now. But everybody has started to come around later in the season. So at one point, it was just the 2 defensive tackles and the secondary. Like, and then the linebackers have been phenomenal all year. We talked about Bonda, who's actually kind of regressed a little bit. We haven't really heard much of him. I think it's more of Collins coming forward than Bonda regressing. But that just goes to show like how Collins has been playing. Again, Anthony Hill Jr. has been really, really good. Like
Vernon Broughton's been really good.
Vernon Broughton, Jesus
He's
Christ.
been really good.
He's been really, really good. So Sadir, I got nervous when he started fighting on the sideline because he was.
I think that's what made me nervous is the like the non-football stuff.
Yeah,
that always makes you a little bit nervous.
yeah.
Um,
And he got set
so
out for the rest of the game. I believe that was the Florida game that he was playing. He got pulled, um, after a couple of plays, and he didn't. I don't think he didn't like that, and that's where you run into a situation like that. But to hear him come back, maybe he matures. Maybe he realizes like, hey, I've got it really good here. At the University of Texas, I'm gonna get a really good education here. Like
yep.
I could really do some damage here. Like even if he doesn't play the amount of time, like you have to look at it both ways, man. Dropping out of college is a big deal. And not too many people are just entering the portal and going and just starting other places. It has been a massive exodus of players. There was a whole team up north at Marshall that entered the transfer portal all in the same day as their head coach got a new job at Southern Mississippi. That's insane. That's insane. So I think there was a little bit of a come to Jesus moment. Maybe mom got involved and was like, listen, you need to kind of slow your horses. Like you could end up in someplace in JUCO land, Texas. You could end up at Blinn, even though Blinn's a JUCO powerhouse. You could end up at Blinn. You could end up at Abilene Christian or wherever, but you're at the University of Texas. I think that's what happened. And you know how Coach Sark is. Once you enter the portal, ain't no coming out. So for him to actually be like, for Sark to allow him to come back in says two things. One, that guy is really talented, and two, he's come to his senses, and maybe that's his reality check. I'm hoping that's what that is.
We'll see. We're gonna need Sadir Mitchell next year, right? Because we don't. You're gonna lose a lot of guys on, especially at the defensive tackle position. You lose
Yes.
two again, both Alfred Collins and you think Alfred Collins and Vernon Broughton both go to the NFL, right?
Yep.
So you're gonna need that. You have Alex January. You bring back Sadir Mitchell. You add Justice Terry, who you think is going to be a key piece, and all of a sudden you have three. You're three deep there now, right? So,
Yep.
yeah, happy to see him come back. I don't. Those are the only 5 that have reported so far.
Yeah.
Actually, that's 7, right? As far as guys coming in, there are a couple of guys that are rumored to actually they're either visiting right now or rumored to visit.
Mm-hmm.
The one guy that is rumored that's actually visiting today is the punter out of Michigan.
Okay.
So the punter out of Michigan was scheduled to meet was scheduled to visit Texas today, and he is, from what I've heard, a guy that they're really interested in. This dude is Tommy Doman. This dude is insane. He's an insane kid. Like this guy is really, really good. And if you can go get a guy like him for next year, you're flipping fields all the time. And with that defense,
right,
the ability to flip the amount of fields that he can, that's winning football games.
Yeah.
And so another name I'd like to think that Texas will look at is Tacario Davis, the defensive back out of Arizona. I thought was actually going to go to the NFL, but that has not been the case.
He's out of where?
Arizona.
Oh yeah, the linebacker.
No, the defensive back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The linebacker, Jacob Manu, I thought Texas would go take him. However, I didn't realize he tore his ACL recently.
Oh.
So based on that, I don't know if they would take him. I actually don't know if they would take him.
When did he tear it? That's
like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, so he burned a year. He lost a year. Maybe
I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Maybe he can apply and get that year back. Maybe he can apply for another year. Because he's gonna need that full year to really recover. Even though a lot of these guys are back on the field in like 6 months after tearing an ACL and moving around at least, you would hope that he'd be able to get that year because, man, tearing ACL, even though modern medicine has done wonders for ACL injuries, it's still a very long amount of time. He's gonna miss spring ball. He may not actually be back on the field where he can fully participate until like June or July of next year.
Yeah. So he got hurt during the Colorado game. So what was that? 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
So yeah, that's and it looks like that injury was indeed an ACL. Non-contact.
Ugh. That's the worst ones, man. That's the worst ones, dude.
So, but that's all I'm hearing from the transfer portal so far. There's a bunch of other names out there. The only other one I'd take a look at, Barry Brown, obviously the wide receiver out of Kentucky. Texas was rumored for Barry Brown a couple years ago. They tried to get him into the portal. Didn't happen. He's actually there now. So we'll see what happens for here. But that's it from the transfer portal, man. I got nothing else. You got anything else you want to wrap up with?
Nah, man. Just I'm ready to get back to it. With the football, bowl season starts tomorrow. So yeah, I'm ready to get back to it, man. I'm ready to watch some football. I'm gonna be watching more of some Clemson games. I'm a kind of a closet Clemson guy. I'm gonna definitely be watching more of their games. Just to see who Texas needs to look out for, because they're gonna I think they're gonna be in a dogfight.
I don't see any bowl games tomorrow, but there are bowl games. There's one bowl game on Saturday.
Am I the Celebration Bowl?
Celebration Bowl is Saturday, and then
I missed that.
IS-45, IS-4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. So there's two.
The Celebration Bowl is usually the Black College Football National Championship.
Yeah.
Which will be
South Carolina State and Jackson
State. Yeah. For some reason, maybe I thought I saw that wrong. I thought it was tomorrow, but it's definitely going to be on Saturday. So definitely look forward to that, because I like watching bands and stuff like that. The marching bands are always really good. So I look forward to that. But outside of that, man, I don't have anything else. I look forward to next week. Next week, we're going to cover this game. We're going to cover Clemson. Unless something crazy happens, we'll probably cover this game. What we think Texas could possibly do if they were to pull this out within the next week. So hopefully nothing crazy happens. Maybe we get a big time recruit to come in. Maybe Barry Alexander does, he commits. We don't know, but as soon as that does happen, we'll definitely let you guys know.
Yeah. We'll definitely be here. We'll give you guys our predictions and look at the brackets next week. We'll have a full we'll have a full all-out college football playoff discussion. So, but before we head out, Tim, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Tim Wayne on Twitter. Shout out to the guys on TikTok. Have been very, very responsive on our Longhorn Fan Battle podcast channel. I usually comment from our TikTok page. Been really, really fun engaging with you guys. I don't engage like Harish does. I don't talk as much trash. I may give you a little 1-2 or maybe one little hitter. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter on at Tim Wayne, on the same thing on Instagram. You want to talk football, talk college football, talk about a bunch of these games. If you're a gamer, man, let's talk games, because it's been a pretty insane night for video gamers like myself. So hit me up.
Cool. You can find me at the Uncle Gandhi, of course, at Longhorn Fan Battle on LH Fan Battle. Between now and then, my name's Harish. My guy Tim. We out of here. Peace.
Till Gabriel.
Go home.
touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard,